Hey, welcome to deepintheburbs.com. My name is Steve Thomason, and I am here in this video just to show you how to navigate around this website. So first of all, the purpose of this website is I'm trying to put my PhD dissertation out there as a public access work in progress. I'm writing a PhD dissertation in congregational mission and leadership at Luther Seminary, and my thesis advisor is Dr. Mary Hess. And if you know Mary Hess's work, she is very much into, she's a religious educator, and she's very much into digital storytelling and using media and social media to help equip people. And so I'm very much into that as well. I'm a pastor in the ELCA. I come from an evangelical background, so I have an interesting kind of blending theologically going on right now. And so this website really has two audiences in mind. The first audience is the academic world, because it is a PhD dissertation, so it goes pretty deep, it gets pretty technical, lots and lots of book reviews and article reviews and things like that. But it also has in mind the church leader who might be interested in the missional church and spiritual formation and things like that. So I'm going to show you how both groups can navigate this site. But again, the idea is that this is open access. So as I'm doing my academic work, I want to share it with you. And so the comments are open. I look forward to your suggestions as I can improve this site, and hopefully it's helpful to you in some small way. So let's look at the site itself. First of all, it's deepintheburbs.com, and in your URL, you can just type that in, deepintheburbs.com. It'll bring you to this home page. No matter where you are in the website, you can always click on the logo here, Deep in the Burbs, and it'll bring you back. Now, you'll see there's two basic sections on the home page. The first of all, this menu bar, think of this as the academic track. This is where the major sections of my dissertation are lined out. So I have the introduction, I have theoretical frames. Let's click on theoretical frames for a second, and you can see this is really the academic stuff. This is all the background theory and things that I'm drawing upon. And you can see that within each of these sections there is its own sub-menu. So here's the theoretical frame index. For example, epistemological considerations. If you click on that, it will take you to the basically like the introduction page of epistemology. And I want to highlight something. I'm a very, very visual thinker. And so when I was working on my comprehensive exams, I created prezzies to help me think through it. And so what I've done is I've modified these prezzies so that basically they're interactive bibliographies. Let me show you how this works really quick. Sometimes the only downside to this is you have to wait for the prezzi to load. Okay, so you can go get a cup of coffee, make a sandwich or something while this prezzi loads up. I'm doing this in real time, so this is how it's going to be. For right now, I think prezzi is a great way to create interactive material. You can use this prezzi. This is a public access prezzi, and you'll see that I have a prezzi on almost every one of these topical pages, and feel free to use them. I mean, they're out there, right? So the way prezzis work is I have it, you can do a prezzi by just clicking the right arrow and going through my prescribed track. Or if you see something that you really like, let's go over here. This is Hans Georg Gadamer's book, Truth and Method. You can just click right on anything that you find interesting, and it will zoom in for you, even if I haven't prescribed it. See, here's his life in Leipzig, and now I have a little scroll button on my mouse, so I'm zooming out. You can jump back on my prescribed path through this, or you can go backwards. You can also grab this little button here, and you can scrub through my prescribed tracks, which is pretty cool, and you'll see it'll take you over there. If you want to zoom out and get to the big picture, you can go back to the home button. It'll take you all the way back. I've clicked on this, Here's an example of an illustration. I try as much as possible to create visualizations, illustrations. I have a background in illustration, so I'm trying to create this visual communication of all of these really complex ideas. And so you can scroll around, so think of that as a bibliography. You can see that what I've done is, let's go back to this Truth and Method book. Whenever you see a book title like this, down at the bottom, you'll see that, oh, I'm zooming the wrong way here. Whoop, let me zoom in. Anytime you see one of these are dynamic links, and when you click on it, it will actually open up my book review of that book. And in this particular book of Hans-Georg Gadamer's Truth and Method, this takes you to a paper that I wrote for the course. And so that's a pretty extensive review of not just that book, but a whole background on who Hans-Georg Gadamer is. And his concept of fusion of horizons is a very important one to me. You can see I've created a Prezi about it. Imagine that. So let's go back to Deep in the Burbs up on top. And so that's the academic track. And so each one of those is like that, where you have a main page that has its own menu within it. And so let's come now to the like the ministry users. Like if you're interested in the Trinity, you can just click on the Trinity and it'll take you right there. And you can see that the Trinity is within my theological frames index. So I also have spirituality or spiritual formation, the Trinity, the missional church, and all of those things. And once again, here's a Prezi that is, I've created videos about the Trinity, and those videos are embedded within this Prezi. And another feature of this website is that there's little footnotes, and the footnotes have pop-up windows. If you click on the footnote, it takes you to the footnote itself. And then down at the bottom, you can see there's a place for comments, and people have commented on this. That's a member of our research team has been commenting. At the bottom of the page, there's the tag cloud again. Just hit this back to top, and that's another way to navigate. And then, of course, you can see that there are links to my Facebook page, my Twitter feed, YouTube video feed, LinkedIn, and then you can always search for anything. Like I'm a big fan of Dallas Willard. I'll type in Willard, and boom, I've got pages of blog entries on Dallas Willard. And here's like a book review of a new book by Gary Black called The Theology of Dallas Willard. Here's my review of Renovation of the Heart. Here's just a blog entry where I mentioned Dallas Willard. So you can see the sky's the limit. So again, this website is an online dissertation in progress. And so I am continually updating it with book reviews, thoughts, personal journal reflections on my action research. So I invite you to participate in this conversation. So thanks for joining and visiting deepintheburbs.com. I hope you come back.